To help us become successful budgeters, I've invited Kumiko Love on the show today. After paying off $77,000 of debt in 8 months by creating her own unique budgeting solution, Kumiko, also known as the Budget Mom, is determined to help others do the same. She's been featured in major media outlet sources like Good Morning America, CNBC, and People. When Kumiko isn't helping people win with budgeting, she loves spending time with her son, James. Welcome to the show, Kumiko.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some specific advice for people so they can stick to their budget. I know you have a lot of experience with this and you interact with a lot of people online to help them do the same. So let's talk about how people can get that motivation. Let's say there's somebody listening right now and they've got a big amount of debt, maybe $80,000 or even more, but they can't seem to get motivated to crush it. So how do they get motivated to pay off their debt?
Really, what it comes down to is you have to have an emotional connection to your financial journey. And what I mean by that, a lot of people say emotions and feelings, they don't belong in the world of finance because it causes us to make irrational decisions. I'm a little bit of the opposite. I think it's our emotions and our feelings that drive us on our financial journey. We have to deal with that emotional side of finances before we can ever make true lasting change in our lives. So the first thing to stay motivated is you have to ask yourself, why are you on this journey to be better with your finances, whether it's pay off debt or you have a huge savings goal? There's an underlying reason. It's not just to be better with your finances. There's something deep down in your gut that's pulling you in this direction, that's making you seek this information. I want people to discover that. And I want them to honestly allow themselves to feel everything that comes with. So, I call it our why, our financial why. And anytime you feel like you're not motivated, that you're not being dedicated enough, that emotional connection to your why is what's going to drive you. It's going to light a fire under you. It's going to be the reason why you giving up is not an option. You have to discover that for yourself, and you have to be very honest about it.
Yeah, that's incredible. There's somebody also listening that's saying, 8 months to pay off $80,000, that is great. She must have done really well with her income. There's going to be other folks that are listening right now that are like, it's going to take me a lot longer to do my thing than 8 months. How do they keep that motivation over a longer period of time to crush their goal?
I think, it comes down to many different things. One of the first thing is we got to ditch self-comparison. We have to ditch it out of our lives. It truly is the the thief of joy. And for me, I had to look and understand and embrace the fact that my journey was not going to look like everyone else's. In fact, there are going to be a lot of people who didn't understand my decisions. You have to be okay with that. That's the first thing. Get rid of self-comparison and start focusing on your journey and your journey alone. The second thing is, make sure you have visual progress in your life, okay? The underlying why will keep you motivated on your journey, but so will also seeing the progress. Get financial trackers in your life. Start embracing coloring, okay? Adult coloring, it's a thing, and it helps on your financial journey. And that way, keep them too. If you hit a major goal, keep that tracker, because you can look back on it when you're not feeling like, I'm just not making any progress. That tracker is going to show you that you are, even though at the time it may seem like it's a really small amount of progress.
Yeah, I like that. And, also on the motivation side, it could probably help to have either community or another person or accountability partner to help you along the way. And, we talked about challenges before. Is that something that people could do with a buddy?
Oh, of course. It's the reason I started the Budget Mom. I never started the Budget Mom to build a business. In fact, at the time, I had no idea making money from blogging was even a thing. I did it to build a community. And to be honest, being a single mom, it's lonely. And it's really sad at times. And it can be really discouraging and it can be scary. I didn't have anyone in my life that I could talk to about what I was dealing with my finances. So I went out searching for people who were like me, who understood how I felt. And as I went searching for them, they were searching for me. And we built this amazing community of just the most supportive, wonderful, this wonderful group. And in fact, I still hop into TBM Family every single day. It is my resource for motivation and dedication. And that's how I dealt with it. I went online. That's how I dealt with it. But having someone in your real life, a partner, your partner, your husband, your wife, a close friend that you can talk to, maybe have budget parties, goal parties, just any type of conversation that allows you to be really honest about what you're dealing with.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, it's two money nerds talking to each other, but it's important for people to talk about money, be open about it. And because like you said, there's emotions tied to this. It's not just facts and figures. People's emotions are tied to it and their overall well-being, both financially and physical and mental. So you are all about some of these hacks, I think, online to save money. So I know people are always looking to save money when they're making their purchases because people still need to make purchases to live their days. Do you have any, ways for people to save more money with their typical budget, maybe online or anything like that?
Yeah, take resources such as the online coupon apps. I use Ebates. I love it. I also use Fetch Rewards, which allows you to scan your receipts and redeem rewards points for gift cards. I use a lot of those different things, but I also, in my day-to-day spending, I also save money by looking at ways to not spend. So I use the cash envelope method. And one of the things that I do is I thrive off of challenges. I think it's because I'm a really competitive person. But every day I say to myself, okay, let's see if I can just save $10 from my food envelope. I'm just gonna stick it over here so it's not in my eye, I don't see it. I can save it. I do little things like that for myself, but I do I do use some of the, Ebates, Fetch Rewards type of things, but I think that will only get you so far. It really comes down to being intentional with how we spend our money and challenging ourselves to do even better.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, let's talk a little bit more about this unique budgeting solution that's helped you out a lot and that's helped out a lot of the people in the Budget Mom community. Walk us through how that works. And, I've been a user of Mint for a really long time. Obviously, that's quite different, something digital versus something tangible. Talk to us about how your solution works and why it might be better than something online.
Yeah, so I'm a huge believer in pen to paper, and there's a reason for that. Throughout my journey, like I told you, I started with Excel, where it calculates all the formulas for you. And what I found is I was doing robot work. Okay, I wasn't doing the hard work on actually learning or making my spending real in my life. The problem that I have with something like Mint is that it literally does everything for you. You are not forced to actually write it down and accept it it just calculates and does everything for you. There's something that's psychological that happens to us when we bring pen to paper. My system that I use was actually created, it's called the budget by paycheck method. It was created out of all of my failures from my past and learning what would make me successful as far as implementing all of these different methods, because I wasn't failing at everything, right? Maybe that was the mindset I had back then, but I wasn't failing at everything. There was things I was successful at. So I incorporated little snippets of all these different methods, tweaked it and changed it into a way where it's completely customizable for anyone's life, anyone's income. And the budget by paycheck method is still what I use 10 years later.
That's incredible. Yeah, there's something to physically writing things down and touching the money, especially if it leaves your hands, that is a little bit more, like we said, on the emotional side with finances. That makes a lot of sense. Well, so there's somebody listening right now, and they are digging this interview. They're digging your story, and they're really excited about sticking to their budget. What's the first thing that they should do following this interview if they want to, be better at sticking to their budget and eliminate debt in their lives?
Financial awareness. You have to grasp that. You got to get it into your life today. Tracking your spending is a step in the budgeting process that I feel is not talked about enough. It's not taught enough. The importance of that step is not talked about enough. You cannot change what you don't know. And until you know where every dollar in your life is going, you're going to have really hard time creating a realistic budget that works in your life. So the first thing, the moment you get done listening to this podcast, I want you to start tracking your spending. I don't care what it's on. I don't care if it's just a blank, torn up notebook. You can do this for free. It's a step that takes, it's a little bit of work. But the benefits you get from that work and the value you get from it is going to be so worth it.
I agree. That realization, once you put the numbers down, you have that epiphany moment, and then maybe you find that motivation that would get you inspired to move you forward, can mean a lot to your life, and look what it's done for you. So congratulations on your success, Kumiko. Where's the best place for people to connect with you and maybe grab a hold of that budget by paycheck method?
Yeah, so, I do a daily video every day on my Instagram. I share my real numbers, my real spending over on Instagram at The Budget Mom, but we also focus a lot on free resources for readers. You can find all of those free resources on thebudgetmom.com, and we also have a ton of in-depth, detailed, helpful videos over on YouTube.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today, Kumiko. This is great.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.